Welcome to the Psychedelic Integration Podcast. I'm Sinclair Fleetwood, a ceremonialist, plant medicine guide, and psychedelic integration coach, and I help soul seekers create lasting transformation so you can get unstuck, embody your power, and be authentic AF, all with plant medicine as your guide. If you're ready to go beyond visuals and get a vision for your life, if you know the end of your ceremony is just the beginning of your expansion, then this show is for you. I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome. Hey family, welcome to the Psychedelic Integration Podcast. I'm Sinclair Fleetwood, your host, and I wanted to start this episode just by saying thank you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for supporting. Thanks for joining my email list. Thanks for doing the work of spiritual and emotional and mental and physical evolution and working with plant medicine and working with psychedelics and looking deeper into what is this all for? What does it mean? Thanks for listening to this wonky little show that I make, this beautiful place where I come and get to share my understandings and my unfoldings with the medicines and also with the medicine of integration and with the medicine of working with people who are also trying to figure it out, right? We're just trying to figure it out. We're trying to understand ourselves. We're trying to understand, why are we here? What are we doing? What is happening on this rock that we are flying through space on? And sometimes it gets really heavy and confusing and scary and frustrating. And we carry a lot of suffering. We carry a lot of heaviness because we think that we need to be different than we are. And I have been exploring in the last few episodes different ways to understand this cycle that we get stuck in, this cycle of sort of incessant fixing and hypervigilance and lifeguard energy and coal miner energy and, this needing to fix and needing to solve and carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders and using health and spirituality and wellness culture as a weapon against yourself to mask your unworthiness and your perfectionism and your achievement drive and the way that you perform in your life. And so I'm talking about this in lots of different ways, mainly because how I understand these concepts that I talk about is usually because it's happening to me. And if it's happening to me, it's also happening to my clients, and it's also happening to other people who are working with medicine. And that's really the whole reason I started this show, is because I wanted to understand WTF is happening to me. Like, I have taken all this medicine. What is happening to me? Like, what is it doing inside of me? And my understanding of what it does inside of me and what it does inside of everyone is always evolving and changing and expanding. And that's where the edge of this show lives, is exploring this expansion, exploring the understanding of it, coming to new ideas and acceptance. There's a lot of acceptance required of what is actually going on. Really hoping that the things that I explore and share on this show are able to give you inspiration, to give you kind of a sounding board or a mirror to look at yourself in a different way, to look at the world in a different way, to maybe start to pick apart some of these belief systems that you have that might not belong to you. It's really a portal for unlearning, this show. And what I am currently unlearning in myself, and I'm seeing my clients unlearn it, and I'm seeing my community unlearn it, and we're all kind of figuring this out and experiencing it in different ways for ourselves. But it is this idea that you need to be fixed, that there is some right way to be. And if you could just find the right practitioner, if you could just find the right path, the right modalities, the right routines, there's unlimited rabbit holes of rightness, right? Because if you believe that you're doing it wrong, and you believe that there is a right way to be and a right way to look and a right way to have a job and the right career and the right schooling and the right partner and the right house and like unlimited choices of rightness that are not what you are. And when we buy into that system, we start to engage in healing and growth and personal evolution as perfectionism, as not enoughness, as performance, as it becomes our identity. It becomes the identity of I'm a pain warrior. I have chronic illness. I'm a person living with this. And like every waking hour is devoted to solving these physical, emotional, and mental issues that I have, right? Oh, it's so tiring. Aren't you tired? So in this episode, I am continuing this exploration that we have been doing. We have gone into the coal mine. We are looking for our jeweler era. And there's a big piece of stepping into your jeweler era, letting go of the things that aren't serving you and slowing down and all of these different things that I've been talking about over the last several weeks, that really without this piece, you will not fully be all the way through the portal. And I want to tell you what that is. But first, I want to remind you that we have one more retreat coming up in Asheville. It is September 12th to 15th, Resonance. It is for loving, magical, fun-filled, beautiful days in nature with the family around the sacred fire, singing, experiencing, being connected, being with your full authentic self, finding out what's in there that doesn't want to be, letting it go, calling in. We're doing everything, and we do it in a soft way, we do it in a fun way, we do it in a loving way. We spend so much time out in nature, eating amazing food that my sister Tara creates. Oh, she's the best. She is the best cook, you guys. It's like the food at our retreats is astounding. It's so good. And we have a few spots left for camping. If you want to come camp in the Blue Ridge Mountains, enjoy the beautiful summer weather. Oh, it's like the best time. The creek is running. You just like put your tent right by the creek. It's so great. We would love to have you join. If you want to learn more, go to my website, sinclairfleetwood.com/events. Book a discovery call with me so we can chat, see if it's a good fit for you. If you're not ready to jump into a retreat, but maybe you want some support, you want some connection, you want to start letting go and take a vacation from your problems with us, come do it inside of Nest. Nest is my group integration membership. We meet every Wednesday on Zoom at 7 p.m. Eastern. We have a great Telegram group. Nest is really a place for you to come and find yourself with the support of other people, to help yourself be seen, to give yourself a regularly scheduled programming of coming in, meeting with people, talking about what's going on, getting coached, getting support, and following a path. There's a curriculum inside of Nest. I love group programs. I actually just joined a group program myself, so I'm doing a 3-month group coaching program with a coach working on my nervous system and my relationship with food. And I'm really excited about it. It's helping me so much. Just in the first week, I'm like, oh my God, why haven't I been like getting support? Because we forget, especially like coaches, we forget. We're like, oh, I need a coach also. Yeah. So everything you need to know is on my website. Go to sinclairfleetwood.com. Okay. So chances are you have tried everything. You have tried everything. You have Googled. You have looked on Reddit. You have joined program after program. You have bought 1,000 self-help books. You have tried breathing, meditating, yoga nidra. You have tried different therapists, different practitioners. You have tried energy healing. You have tried EMDR. You have tried every possible type of acupuncture, of all the doctors, specialists. Maybe you have a whole bunch of diagnoses. Who knows? What is really going on with all of this? Because what I'm describing, this person who is incessantly trying to solve this problem of being themselves, of being disconnected from themselves, of being so hyper activated in the nervous system, because really that's what this is about. It's about a nervous system that does not know how to turn itself off. It's about fear. It's about unsafety. It's about a nervous system that's not only responding to danger, but is so hyper vigilant and is constantly asking, am I safe? Can I soften? Is it okay? Like, is there a threat? And it's sort of activated to become obsessed with scanning all the time, right? That's where a lot of people come into the path with plant medicine, is they have tried everything. There's something going on. There's the cosmic bitch slap moment, or there's a problem with your health, or there's some kind of mental health situation, depression, anxiety. These are not separate. Like the mind has a problem and the body has a problem. Everything is connected, right? So we are holistic whole beings. And if you are depressed, that is a sign that your body is in dorsal vagal collapse. That is a type of nervous system dysregulation. It's shutdown, it's freeze, it's numbness, it's apathy, it's not having any joy in life. It's protective. It's a thing that our body does naturally to to support us and to take care of us. It often will create a place where we can't feel anything because the body is just sort of like numbing to conserve its energy. So usually when I meet people, they're in a crisis. They're in a state of collapse. They're in a state of freeze. They're in a state of just being activated all the time. And they're looking last ditch, like, okay, maybe these plant medicines can help me. It's like plant medicine is often a stop on the crazy train of solving. It's a place where we think, okay, well, maybe this will fix it because I've tried everything else and maybe this will fix it. Why are we so obsessed with fixing it? Well, because it hurts. It's painful. There's a lot of suffering involved when you have chronic illness, invisible illness, when you have chronic pain, when you feel chronically activated, when you wake up in the morning and you are hyper alert. It doesn't feel good. It feels terrifying. Or when you can't sleep or you can't feel, everything is turned off, right? When we start to understand, like, oh, what is the core connection inside of me around all of this? It's my nervous system. That can often activate more fixing, more solving, more obsession, more compulsion, more anxiety. So what would happen if you decided in this moment, I am no longer engaging with any of my problems. I'm going to take a vacation from my problems. I am going to put all the solving and the fixing and the hypervigilance and the lifeguard energy and the worthiness and the perfectionism, need to perform and do well and everything to be perfect, and I don't trust that anyone will do it as good as me. I'm going to put my diagnosis down. I'm going to put my anxiety down. I'm going to put whatever it is that's going on with you, insomnia, chronic pain, chronic illness of any kind. Can you, just for a moment, imagine what would it be like to be free of this hurricane of solving? What if you just take a break? What if you're just like, I'm just going to put this down, take a vacation from my problems. I'm going to go on a trip away from this. This came up in Nest because I meet a lot of people in their crisis point where they are really suffering and they're looking for answers and they're looking for solutions, and coaching is one of the things they are trying. And what I'm seeing over and over in these beautiful, high achieving, intelligent, emotionally intelligent, committed, willing, open, wonderful, delicious people is so much suffering and so much heaviness and so much self-judgment and self-rejection and so many things in common. And one of the main things that they all have in common, and me too, I have all of this too, that's how I know how to do the work around it, is this belief that there is a right way to be, that there is some path or way of being or a way you're supposed to look or a way that you're supposed to exist in the world, that if you could just figure that out, then everything would feel good. And you have tried literally everything. You've tried to fill it with food, you've tried to fill it with shopping, materialism, education, knowledge, learning, hobbies. There is no end to how many things we will try to help ourselves feel better. But how many of us have tried changing the belief that there's something wrong in the first place? That's what I'm really trying to unravel as I have been doing this series about kind of like allowing your wellness and slowing down and coming into your jeweler era, right? Like all of these different ways of reframing this idea that there is something broken about you, there's something wrong with you. However you are in this moment is not good enough. There's something that needs to be fixed. There's something that needs to be solved. There's something that needs to be changed. And I think what we're seeing is this epidemic of really intelligent, powerful, beautiful, wonderful, creative, all the adjectives, amazing people who are really suffering, who are really struggling, and who are really struggling and suffering by our own hand, in our own mind, in our own habits, in our own belief systems. We are creating our suffering. And I'm saying we because I have this. This is the basis of this entire show. I have been on a personal journey to understand myself and to explore myself and to explore how plant medicine has opened me and how it's continuing to be a tool that I use to open my consciousness, to unlock codes in my DNA, to move into understanding things like the gene keys and evolutionary astrology and these different tools that I use, human design, that I use in my life to help me on my path of experiencing and existing. And so much that has been mirrored back to me has been an invitation to change, not me, not my expression, not my experience, but my reaction to what I'm experiencing, my judgment of what I'm experiencing, my self-rejection of what I'm experiencing, the identity that I took on when I was like, okay, I'm not an addict anymore. Now I'm going to be a healing warrior. I'm going to unearth everything that caused me to be addicted in the first place. And I'm going to spend 7 years worrying and freaking out and being terrified that what I did to my body and did in my life before, and feeling regret and sadness and beating myself up and being angry at myself and punishing myself and feeling shame about the life that I lived before I quote unquote woke up. I'm going to spend 7 years making myself sick because I'm afraid I'm going to get sick. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's so funny. It's hilarious, actually. And you have to have a sense of humor because it's so painful, this journey that we're on. This pain warrior, chronically ill, like broken, sick, exhausted, nervous system activated self that you're living in. It's a hilarious, sad, painful joke that you have to laugh at because there's really no other way to cope with it. It's like we can laugh at it or we can choose to just believe everything that we think about ourselves and spend the rest of our lives trying to fix it. I will tell you right now, plant medicine isn't going to fix it. You can't fix it because it's unfixable, because the problem is not one that it has a solution. The solution is to stop engaging with it. The solution is rest, laugh, play. How do we unlock our nervous systems from being activated? It's not put more activation. It's not do more modalities. It's not keep pushing and looking up stuff and trying to find an answer and trying to find a practitioner and reading another self-help book. None of that stuff is going to solve it because it's unsolvable. It's like the Ouroboros. It's like the snake eating its own tail. All of the fear that we create around our symptoms, around whatever it is, I want to be this way and I'm not this way. So it could be anything. It could be a symptom in your body. It could be, I don't feel like emotionally the way that I want to. It could be, I don't have the right job. It could be, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do in life to succeed. And there's some version of me that if I could just figure out to dial in like all of the things that version of me needs, then I will allow myself to be happy. And I've been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks in all these different ways because it is a huge breakthrough when you decide there is nothing wrong with me. When you decide that you can have symptoms, you can have stress, you can have terrible sleep, you can have chronic pain in your body, you can have cancer, you can have an illness of any kind, an illness that you may never get rid of. You can have a difficult emotional experience, and all of that can be present and all of that can be true. And you can be in that moment completely unaffected. You can be authentically indifferent is one way to say it. You can take a vacation from your problems. You can say, I actually don't give a fuck about this. What if you stopped giving a fuck? What if you stopped giving such a fuck? What if you stopped taking yourself so seriously? Your avatar, as my partner says, the medicine is telling him, like, you take your avatar way too seriously. And it's true. We create these personalities and we create this identity, and then we bring the healing warrior into the identity. And why do we do this? Because it hurts to be a human sometimes. We want to not be suffering. We want to feel good. And we want to not suffer so much. We are so invested. We are like, I will give anything not to suffer. And I'm asking, if you will give anything not to suffer, can you not care that you're suffering? Can you not be afraid that you are suffering? Can you not create a catastrophizing future where all of your body systems collapse and you have a terrible disease that you're afraid of? Like, and that's what's happening now is going to bring this future that you don't know. The thing is, you don't know. And you worrying about it and creating fear about it and suffering more about it is not only not helping, it is actively preventing you from healing. Because healing cannot be accessed from an activated nervous system. Healing is only accessed when we are in a ventral vagal state, when we are in the parasympathetic nervous system, when we are soft, when we are open, when we are connected, when we're creative, when we're in a good mood, we feel ease, we're sleeping well. You have to decide to return to that state no matter what is going on in your life, no matter what symptoms you have, no matter what diagnosis you have. You have to decide that it's possible to enjoy your life, to have a good day, to have a good moment, to have a good minute, even if you are experiencing a symphony of symptoms and struggle and problems. And that's why take a vacation from your problems is such a good exercise, because it sort of came to me because I actually did take a vacation from my problems. Earlier this year in the spring, I went to Ecuador and I did a 10-day ayahuasca and San Pedro retreat with my family at Hayulima Spiritual Sanctuary in Mindo, Ecuador. They are so wonderful, so amazing, the most integrity. I love them so much. If you're looking for an ayahuasca and San Pedro experience out of the country, I highly recommend this is the place. I will put the link in the show notes. So we ended up going, Ian and I went, it was his first time with grandmother medicine, and we decided to explore Ecuador because he had never been to South America. And so we made this trip out of it, right? And leading up to this retreat, which happens really often, it happens in my own retreats, but it happens with my clients and my people who come to our retreats, to Resonance. When you like pay for a retreat, you're like, I'm coming to this retreat. Man, you are like making a commitment with these medicines and they're like, all right, let's start cleaning. And for me, they start bringing stuff up before I ever get on the plane, before I ever land in the, before I ever arrive at Ayulima, I've probably like started processing a million things. So over the years of my own healing journey, I took my addiction out of my life. That was kind of the catalyst for me to start opening to new ways. That's when I found plant medicine. That's when I started looking deeper at my own trauma and all of these things. And it's also when a different thing started to show itself to me, which is the addiction to healing, the obsessive way that I began to engage in my healing path, the way that I had an idea of how I should be and what I should look like at the end of this journey, and all of the mechanisms of control that I used to try to get myself to that perfect version of myself. And when I started all of this, I didn't know that I knew I was a perfectionist, but I didn't know that perfectionism was bad. I thought it was like a good thing to be, conscientious and detail oriented and micromanagey and like, slightly bossy and not trust other people. And I thought all of these things were good because society kind of tells us that it's good to be like that, right? Like multitasking and, going fast and doing lots of things. And it's really over-functioning is what it is. It's being a highly functional person on the outside, but inside you're kind of suffering and crumbling. And I masked that for a long time with my addictive tendencies because I was just sort of like tapping out from what was going on inside of me. And when I stopped doing that, all of these behaviors and all of these ways that I needed to control myself and make myself small, physically make myself smaller, to, obsess about my weight, my food relationships, my exercise, like most of my stuff comes out as physical ways of coping, and hypochondria and looking at myself and worrying that I've broken myself or that there's something wrong with me. So there's been like an unfolding of the medicine and how it speaks to me. And that has been going on ever since I started working with it. And you will find that too in your integration, that maybe a journey that you had early on had so many nuggets of wisdom in it that you didn't receive them all at the moment you did it. And it's taking years. It's been like almost 8 years since I sat with ayahuasca for the first time, and I'm still getting messages from my very first experiences. And one of those messages was, you take yourself way too seriously. You don't have to care. All of these things that you care about, you do not have to care about. And I remember feeling so free and liberated of like, oh my God, why do I care so much? And I was able to set a lot of it down. I set down politics. I set down like identity politics. I set down so many things because I was carrying a lot. I was carrying really a lot. And it's wild how, we're on this healing spiral where we are constantly spiraling like this. We're going up. I like to think we're going up. We're ascending into higher vibrations, higher expression, higher frequency. So often we will kind of clear out some of the understandings and behaviors and beliefs that we have. And then we go on for a while and then we come back to that thing. And so this way of relating with my body and these mechanisms of control that I put on myself and the understanding I have about my own nervous system and what's actually going on and like what is true in this experience of humanity that I'm having, this human body experience, always comes back. There'll be a time where I like get some stuff straight and then it will come back. And so I went to Ecuador earlier this year and it kind of unlocked a new, I remember feeling really like I'm leveling up and like this invitation to trust life and this invitation to really trust the natural intelligence of nature and intelligence of my body and intelligence of the biological expression of consciousness that exists inside of me, and like to trust the force of life, of spirit, of source energy that is in me, that's me, that is expressing through me. It's like my higher self came into this body, part of me, and this is what it is, and this is why it's here, and like there's nothing to be judged or be wrong about it. And it was such a big understanding. And from that time in the spring until now, well, a couple of things happened. First of all, I realized on our trip that I was really in a deep attempt to control and a deep attempt to like use things outside of myself to understand myself, to track. I was taking a bunch of supplements. I was like really deep in the wellness culture of like figuring out what's going on with my body and needing to fix it and needing to solve it and needing to release weight and needing to have a different relationship with food and being like obsessed with my food. And then realizing like when I get to Ecuador, you can't do any of that stuff. There's no scales, there's no food scales, there's no mirrors, there's tobacco and like a whole lot of medicine, and you're just sort of out in the middle of nowhere with some crazy, beautiful people who do life completely differently. And the vibration there is so different. And it was so easy to just sort of step out of that version of myself of like, I don't do any of this here. And to like let it go. And I have had trouble sleeping most of my life in varying degrees. I've had mostly insomnia for my whole life, ever since I was a child. It's something that I alternate being fine with, and then at other times it feels very not fine and it feels upsetting. And it just depends on what kind of energy I want to put into it, right? So when I got to Ecuador, I started sleeping through the night just like that. I was sleeping through the night. I was drinking tons of coffee and sleeping through the night. I felt great. And I really was like taking a vacation from my problems, because in that space, there wasn't room for them. There wasn't room for me to be obsessing about stuff. There wasn't room for me to be solving and being my solving identity. The identity that I was in there was peaceful, happy, open, loving medicine sister, because that's how I feel when I'm there. And I started to think like, why is this only accessible to me here? And I have looked back at like different places. We go camping a lot, and we have all these retreats. And in those spaces where I'm out in nature with other humans, I do not have problems. And I realized one of the most powerful things that plant medicine does is invite you to take off your identity, your solving. It invites you to take a vacation from your problems. And sometimes it takes you into a solution for a problem, or it'll take you into your suffering and show you like how you're creating it yourself. It doesn't always say, okay, just take this off. But I continued to sleep really well at the beach. We went to the beach afterwards, and I was like sleeping through the night. I was just eating croissants and like ice cream every day. I wasn't following any of the rules, right? Of the rules that you're supposed to be, doing. You're supposed to do it like this or you're not healthy. And I just like, I'm like, okay. So that happened on the trip. And then I got home and I held it for a while, Slowly the vibration changed and I've started having more trouble sleeping again. And I started looking for reasons and it just sort of activated this automatic, I need to fix this. And here's what I do. I, track my food and I like put, control mechanisms on myself and I try to like I figure and solve and I figure out and solve and I figure out and solve. And there's a problem and I try to solve it. And there's a problem and I try to solve it. And there's a problem and I try to solve it. And there's no consistency and there's no like safety in that. There's just always wake up. Okay, what's wrong? Let me fix it. And it's very like firefighter energy of just constantly, or like paramedic energy. It feels like, okay, the ambulance is here. Like we have to triage this. And the reason it feels this way is because our nervous systems are so activated and we have all these stress hormones in our body. So it's very hard to access this like take a vacation from your problems feeling when you are constantly activated in your nervous system. And what this continuous activation can cause is all kinds of long-term things, but mostly it creates burnout. It creates spiritual burnout. It creates like you kind of start to get depressed. And that's really what the freeze state is you've kind of burned yourself out of fight or flight and you've gone into like dorsal vagal collapse, which is shut down, numbness, apathy, inability to feel, all these different things that happen when the body is just like, it's sort of like preparation to die. I mean, that's what the body does. It's just like, okay, I'm just going to conserve my energy and like kind of wait. It's very hard to access healing and good feeling thoughts and empowerment and confidence when you are actively engaged with the belief system telling you that there is something wrong with how you are and how you're doing it. And what I learned on these little vacations from my problems, and that has just really recently, like today, clicked in me when I woke up at 5:00 this morning. I have been microdosing ayahuasca for about a week, and I was asking her for help with these physical symptoms. Like my body makes symptoms. It's how my nervous system creates problems, and I am all day firefighting and paramedicing and trying to solve them. Like this is a little game that we play in ourselves. And I had asked grandmother, like, I'm going to work with you for some days and to help, right? Like help me see, help me understand, help me know what to do. And of course, my little monkey brain is like, oh, she's going to she's going to go in and she's going to heal everything, which is not ever what she does. She does not do that. Like, she's never done that for me. I know she comes into my body, and all these medicines do. They're working on cellular damage. They're regrowing neurons. They are changing the chemistry of the brain. That's how they work scientifically. How I believe they work in the spirit realm, in the realm of like energy, in the quantum world, is they're unlocking our DNA and letting the light come out. And that's why it's always the way that we learn from them and the way that we experience their teaching is completely never what you expect. And it's always some like, oh, like simple aha moment where you're like, duh, because it's just turning your frequency to be like, this thing that you believe is not true, let me show you the truth. And they're like putting on your truth glasses and you're just like, what? Why do I not know this already? And it's funny. It's like really fun. It's really funny. It's hilarious how it is, because we are so attached to our suffering. We are so attached to the identity of the warrior, the identity of the solver. And it feels impossible not to care, to take a break from our problems, to take a vacation from our problems, to say, I don't have any problems, to actually say that and believe it, because that's what's actually true. It's so hard not to be afraid that you're suffering. But the only way that you can actually feel and experience true permanent healing from many of the things that I've been mentioning in this episode is to stop caring that it's there and to stop needing it to be healed, to be okay, and to practice outcome independence, which is, this is here or not. It doesn't matter. I'm going to enjoy myself anyway. And one of the things that happened in Nest when we did this take a vacation from your problems experiment was everyone was sort of noticing how much time and energy and habit is in the solving and the fixing and the looking for solutions and the Googling and the engaging with the energy of whatever problem has your attention, whatever symptom, whatever, whatever thing that you think that you need to solve about yourself, and outsourcing this looking out of yourself and being like, there's somebody that has the answer for me. And I'm here to tell you, there is no one that has the answer for you but you, including these plant medicines. If you get an answer from plant medicine, it's because it mirrored it to you from you, because you are source energy. You have everything you need inside of you. There is no other way to be. And when we get disconnected from that understanding, we don't believe that's true. We don't trust the intelligence of nature. We don't trust our bodies. We believe that we're broken. We believe we're not worthy. We believe that there is something that needs to be fixed. And we're going to spend all of our time, energy, and money trying to solve the problem of ourselves. You'll never solve it. It's unsolvable because there's no problem. That's the real tricky truth. The problem is invented. The problem is just the mind creating something for you to look for. And its sidekick is the nervous system, and the nervous system creates the feeling of there being something wrong because it's activated. And when it gets activated, it gets sensitive. And when it's sensitive, it is much more easily activated. It's really a vicious cycle of fear and anxiety and worry and hypervigilance and perfectionism and self-criticism and not believing that you're good enough. So the answer is not to heal all of those different things. The answer is take a vacation from your problems. Stop engaging with these outcomes that you need to have. Practice authentic indifference. Stop giving a fuck. Stop giving a fuck. You don't have to give any fucks. Do not care. You can't sleep? So fucking what? Your back hurts? Oh well. Go about your day. And I guarantee you, if you start looking at yourself and you start journaling about this and taking what is really happening inside of you, you will see that you have great days when you don't sleep. Maybe you have a lot of energy because who knows, you're running on stress hormones. That's probably true. You can do so much and you can have a beautiful full life and have pain and have symptoms and have depression and have anxiety. You do not have to get rid of these things to enjoy yourself. And if you can switch to believing that is true, that so what? My partner always says, okay, sounds good. That's his version of, I don't give a fuck. Sounds good. But it is like that. It's okay, I woke up and I didn't sleep last night. I struggled all night. I woke up activated. I feel like crap. So what? I'm going to have a great day today. And at first you might be kind of fake it till you make it. It doesn't feel easy all the time. It doesn't feel good all the time. There's going to be moments where you're like, I have a bunch of problems today. But if you put your attention on taking a permanent vacation from your problems and stop looking at yourself as something that needs to be solved because you're doing it wrong, and start practicing the thought of, I can't do it wrong. There is no right way to do it. There's how I am, and how I am is great. And there might be things that you want to call forward in yourself, and that's a different energy. Inviting yourself to be creative and beautiful and funny and smart and abundant is a different energy than I suck and I need to fix myself and no one will love me unless I'm, some other way. Your only job is to be soft with yourself. Your only job is to feel good. Your only job is to put down anything that feels like solving, fixing, struggling, efforting, striving, thinking that you need to achieve your way to some perfect state that does not exist. Your job is to stop believing these lies that your mind is telling you. And I promise you, if you practice this, if you take a vacation from your problems and you decide to let them not run you and you put down all of the systems of control and you ask yourself, what feels good to me? What feels right to me? What feels like love? What feels soft? What feels juicy? What feels enjoy? What feels like joy? What feels like connection? What makes me feel curious? What inspires me? You can feel the energy of that vibration as opposed to, I feel terrible and I'm going to spend all my time today trying to figure out why I feel terrible. It's so simple. Take a vacation from your problems. Let them go. Just try it. It's a vacation. So if you want to, you can pick them back up later. I don't think you should, but try it. Try not giving a fuck. See what happens. And give yourself permission to stop performing. Give yourself permission to stop solving. Give yourself to just exist. because healing happens when the body believes that the war is over, and you are the one waging war on yourself. If you accept yourself, radically accept yourself, all your flaws, all your shadows, all your shame, bring love to the places that you find so dark and ugly that you can't look at, those are the places that need your love. This is what our nervous system needs, is not more solving and fixing and harsh energy. It needs devotion. It needs, I'm doing yoga nidra every night because I love to feel relaxed. No, I'm doing yoga nidra every night because if I don't, I'm never going to sleep again. You feel the difference in energy there. Take that energy, take that struggle energy, and do something else. Go on vacation. I will meet you there. Thank you so much for coming to this TED Talk. I'm so excited that you are going to join me in not giving a fuck. And if you would like support on this path and to learn how to practice this stuff in real life, please contact me. My website is sinclairfleetwood.com. You can click on work with me and learn about one-on-one coaching, Nest, my group. Come to Resonance. We would love to retreat with you and like take a vacation from our problems together. Thank you so much for being here, family. See you next time.